When you say?
Yep, just going live, getting making sure it's all connected. Well, Mixer immediately connected, so that's cool. Oh, he's a texting machine. Twitch is connected.
No, wait for me.
Yeah, phone's about to die anyways, so whatever. Good time to charge it when I'm not using it, because I'll be podcasting.
Yeah.
YouTube's working. Periscope's online. Oh, I got a very curious cat all of a sudden. That's what I thought. Okay. Red Leaf Retrocast. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, episode 13 of the Modern Games Cast from the Red Leaf Retrocast is here, and we're talking game releases from August 2018. Now, I am not joined here with my usual guest host, Drew. He had something come up last minute, but luckily enough, I have my buddy here, Colin, from the Retro Gaming Podcast. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, everybody. Were you expecting someone else? Probably. I just got home from work a couple of hours ago. Did all my grocery shopping for the week, so I'm all stocked up on food.
Oh, yeah?
And we got a lot of modern games to talk about today.
Yes, we do indeed. And, oh, well, look who showed up. Drew's here. Hello, Drew. We just started
Jacob.
like 10 seconds ago, so hit that record button, my friend.
Already did.
This is a pleasant surprise, Drew. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. How you been? You've been having some
Good.
rough times?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was on a FaceTime call with 2 people, getting off to get on a podcast, and then 3 people knocked on my door.
Oh, seriously?
All at about 5:05. So.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they're intruding into your life and more important things to talk about, like
I checked
video
them out.
games.
Yeah, I think we're hanging out like next Friday now, or doing something. I don't know what he wanted to do. I was confused. I was like, "Why are you here, Ricky? Why are you here?"
Well, I'm glad you're here. You are not missing your first episode ever on the Modern Games Cast.
What?
And Drew, we're joined here with Colin from the Retro Gaming Cast.
This is my first
Hello,
day.
Drew.
Wait, what podcast is this?
This is the Modern Games Cast, my friend.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay,
We're
good.
talking August 2018 games.
This is my first episode?
No, it was going to be your first one you missed.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You got that cleared up now? Maybe.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Drew, since Colin and I had a nice little introduction, what if you and we just recorded the Retro Gaming Cast recently on Sunday,
today?
as a matter of fact.
On Sunday?
Yes. What games have you been playing, Drew?
I haven't had much time for games lately. MW2 and backwards compatible, so I've been playing some Modern Warfare 2, like a TDM here and there.
Well, that's nice.
But I haven't been playing much games. Well, like a couple weeks ago, I started playing Fortnite tournaments and won a ton of them, so that's cool.
Well, that's
They
kind
were
of
a lot easier than I thought they would be.
Well, most of the people are pretty bad, but the people that are good are really, really good.
It literally turned into what we would call free money. Like, it was legitimately like we would sit down and just pound out like 4 tournaments in a row and win every single one of them. And we're like, yeah, here we go.
Hey, there you go. That's nice.
Yeah. And I'm not even good at Fortnite. So,
I don't think anyone's actually good at Fortnite except 5 people.
right. But besides that, I got a new job. I started a new job.
Oh, nice.
I'm grabbing a PS4 Pro here in 2 weeks. I'm going to be like officially competing the CWL season in Black Ops 4. I'm not going to get to MLG Vegas to compete, but all the 2019 events, all the open 2019 events, I aim to compete at. So waiting for that announcement. That'll be fun. But I'm going to be gearing up with the team. So I'll be on stream like 6 hours a day. Be at work for 8 hours, be on stream for 6 hours, and then sleeping.
That doesn't sound sustainable.
Oh, that's the grind, man.
Yeah, well, anyways, some game trailers came out, guys.
Oh, which ones?
We got The Quiet Man out of PAX West came out, and an hour of Cyberpunk 2077.
I meant to go to PAX, actually. I was going to go over there. But I think I forgot. I got busy.
We all get busy. When these game trailers come out, I generally just kind of check them out to see if there's any actual gameplay. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll cut it short just so I don't spoil anything for myself. Because there's one thing I hate more than anything is spoiling myself on things.
Right.
I don't like actively looking for things to ruin an experience. That could be movies, anime, games, you name it. And if people spoil it for me, then I'm pissed. Like, directly at me. Know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Well, an hour gameplay went up for Cyberpunk 2077, and that was one of the major titles that was coming out of E3. A lot of people were talking about it. It looked absolutely incredible. It's by the same people that made the Witcher series. And what were your thoughts, Colin, coming out of E3 looking at Cyberpunk 2077? Or did you not realize it at all?
I knew it was coming. I didn't
all
look
over my
at
Twitter
at E3, but I just saw like half an hour of the gameplay reveal right before this cast, and it looks really cool. Sort of reminds me of Deus Ex: Human Revolution to an extent.
I was thinking Snatcher meets The Witcher, I want to say.
I'd say it reminds me more of the new Dread movie.
Oh, well, yeah.
Way it's set up.
Could be. Drew, what did it remind you of, Cyberpunk 2077?
It just reminded me of kind of a cyberpunk sci-fi game, honestly. Like, I feel like the gaming industry, at least in the early 2000s, has ran through that genre quite a bit. So, it looks, like a super sci-fi version of Watch Dogs, or, a version of, Blade Runner. It's cyberpunk, and that's what I find funny about it. The game's called Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is an actual genre, So This looks like a cyberpunk game. So, and look,
it's Shadowrun, but good.
Shadowrun, but good. Yeah, that's a very good comparison. Drew, would you mind shutting that off, please?
I don't know what that is. You guys talk. I'm going to see what that is.
Your phone, dude.
It's like his pock porn machine just keeps going. We're ready. Oh man.
Okay, if it happens again, I think I know what it is.
Okay. So, you can choose between a man or a woman. That much is obvious. It looks to be very mature. It's going to have murder, adult themes, such as, obviously there's going to be drinking in it.
I can't
sex,
wait.
drugs, alcohol, for sure. Because it is The Witcher and it's not messing around. I was reading a lot of, be it Twitter or people just blogging about how they feel about the game, and everyone seems to be hyped that it's going to be a good game. And then there's a lot of people going, the people that are negative about it just go, nudity and whatever, that's not my thing, not going to get it.
Well, people are upset it's first person, actually. I've been seeing a lot of that. People are really upset that it's going to be first person.
Yeah, I guess because the Witcher series was third person, and it kind of goes along with the company. But I got the gameplay reveal right here for the live stream up, and it looks incredibly solid and polished. And
right,
coming from a person that doesn't generally like first person views in games, there's always an exception to the rule, and this looks like it's gonna be right in that realm for sure.
Right. No, I'm interested in Cyberpunk. I've never really been a CD Projekt Red person.
You don't like The Witcher?
No, they're just not really my game. I'm not a fantasy guy. And here's something to know. I just don't really like fantasy. I like modern fantasy, but I don't like the dragons and wizards fantasy.
All right, fair enough.
So it never really drew me in. I might start that Witcher Netflix series that just got the lead actor casted, who's the guy, I forgot his name, but he plays Superman from Man of Steel and Justice League and everything. He's playing Geralt. Yeah. He's playing Geralt in The Witcher, the Netflix series.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of excited for, and I'll definitely try it out, but I've never been a Witcher guy, but I like sci-fi, and I do agree that I think a game of this magnitude, that this big should be third person, but they're developing the game. They probably know what they want us to feel or see. So I'm excited to kind of just see that.
Yeah, I think the choice of the first person was solely to get you to be more immersed in the world, and everything I've seen from the gameplay trailer definitely makes me feel that 100%, especially with the hand motions and the seamless animation. It's right there. It looks like it's going to flow very well and match the tone of the game for sure. Colin, what did you take away from this gameplay reveal?
A very detailed world for sure.
Definitely.
I mean, we saw several different things that just your own presence having an impact on the world. Like the advertisements close to you will say, this can be bought at this station a few steps away, whenever you pass by, and all that good stuff. Or people will shout things from the sides like, hey, buy this, or you want this, or stuff like that.
Right.
And I imagine the dialogue will change depending whether you're a man or a woman.
Oh, sure. And who you interact with and how you interact with them. Sure. Absolutely. Kind of like that Mass Effect situation.
Yeah.
It reminds me, the more I watched the gameplay reveal and the more you learned about the world, it was giving me heavy Ghost in the Shell vibes.
Me too.
And fun fact, Ghost in the Shell is in the cyberpunk genre.
Well, of course it is. It's like the originator of it all. That through anime.
Yeah. Let me be the first to say, I think it's a stupid name.
Cyberpunk 2077?
Yep.
Well, it's a video game. Most names are dumb.
But names are unique. This is literally just a genre with a number after it.
Yeah, it could have gone something with more originality for sure.
Yeah, I personally feel like everything looks like Blade Runner, just a little bit brighter. So
yeah, I mean that's probably exactly what they're going for.
Yeah, I feel like everybody will have their favorite cyberpunk, franchise that they compare this game to. So I don't know, man. It looks cool though. I'll definitely highly consider pre-ordering it and playing it. So
oh yeah, it's definitely on one of the top games on my list coming out.
Yeah.
In the near future.
There's not really a way that you just don't play it, if you're really into the video game industry and that stuff.
Yeah, or at least check it out. Colin, what do you like the cyberpunk genre at all?
I like the look of it for sure. As for, I don't know that I usually go out of my way to in cyberpunk fiction in general, but if there's a really well done one that catches my eye, sure, I'll watch it. I mean, Deus Ex Human Revolution, I was willing to buy that one, although I haven't played it yet. It's in my ever-increasing backlog.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I know all about the backlog. That's why I have my 2-hour rule.
Yeah, my backlog is... I'm pretty free of the backlog, honestly. I don't really have a backlog. Then again, I'm probably the person here with the most free time, besides JD. So
look at Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Hey, no, it's just my youth, all right?
These days.
Well, being the huge Ghost in the Shell mark that I am, and being that we just played a Ghost in the Shell game for the Retro Gaming podcast, definitely go check that out. Just recently released. I am 100% behind like the whole feel and aesthetic and atmosphere that's being developed here. So,
no, I like how colorful it is a lot, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of vibrant pinks and purples going on, a lot of neon type stuff happening.
Cyberpunk normally are gray and dark and drudging, and it's always like one that I really like to look back to, and I think there's a debate whether it's fully cyberpunk or not, but an old movie called The Minority Report.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
But it's color-wise, it's very down, and grudgy and grays. Movies like Blade Runner 2049, which was easily the best movie last year, just saying. Visually are just like, oh my goodness. And I think Cyberpunk can do that really well, the genre.
Yeah, it's the same with the Dread movie. That had some really amazing visuals. Dread? It's like
Dread? I didn't watch that one, no. But there were scenes of Cyberpunk 2049 that were just jaw-dropping. One of the world's lead cinematographers on that movie, and they were just, every single frame was like, I want that to be my desktop photo on my PC,
Well, that's a good feeling.
Yeah. It's just, oh my goodness, it was incredible.
Well, let's move on to the next game here, which is The Quiet Man. So, this was something that caught my eye. I believe it was a new IP that's being developed by Square Enix, and they had just a minimal kind of trailer for it at E3, and nobody was really talking about it, but it did catch my eye. And coming out of PAX West here in 2018, which is very recent, the big news was they revealed gameplay from The Quiet Man. Now, the trailer itself that they put online in the live stream here, I have it from GameSpot Gameplay up on YouTube, that it's a lot of live action stuff, and then it goes into the gameplay. And the gameplay reminds me a lot of Max Payne type stuff, except instead of shooting, now you're doing hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was an odd choice of odd way to reveal your gameplay, especially coming after what we saw from Cyberpunk 2077. Colin, what did you think of this reveal here from The Quiet Man?
Seems to be kind of doing a similar thing to Quantum Break, mixing live action with in-game graphics.
Yeah.
As far as lasting impressions, I'm not entirely sure I was really left with anything. Of course, I didn't have a chance to watch the entire reveal, but it just seems like that is pretty much reminds me of somewhere between the Mad Max game and Arkham Asylum's combat.
Oh, that's a good comparison. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure.
Yeah,
I hope it's not going to be this live action thing the whole time. I think that'll take away a lot from the game, personally, because Quantum Break didn't do so well. Let's face it.
Yeah, but I really liked Quantum Break. Did you play Quantum Break?
Yeah, I played a bit of it. It didn't quite grab me.
I thought it was, what I liked about it is that I thought the actual storyline was kind of fresh. As far as time travel goes, that was kind of a unique, fresh take on it, and I liked it, and I thought it was cool. I thought the gameplay was fun, and the characters were interesting. The live action to gameplay, the way it was seamed together, was kind of awkward.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't come across well. Because you're here to play a game, not watch a movie. And
but the way they handled it was good. They handled it because it was two different storylines. They kind of benefited each other. But I don't think it works when you say you have to stop playing and watch the show now,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what playing a game truly is. And I know that's where like modern gaming's at, is this cinematic experience. Just look at the Uncharted series. But at the end of the day, you're playing a game, and those are just cutscenes. This feels like I'm going to be watching more of a movie and not... I mean, Colin, we just played Berserk on the Dreamcast, and that was like 90% cutscenes. The game's only like a few hours if you just skip them all. That's not good. I'm wondering if The Quiet Man's going to be the same thing. And really, from all the... I don't like watching all of these trailers. It just looks like hand-to-hand combat, and then you're just watching something. So I'm to be honest, I'm a little worried, and I hope this isn't truly the case of what they're revealing. I mean, for all we know, it could just be a hype trailer to get us immersed in what the story and who the character is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the story's gonna be.
Well, it looks like it's this. So it follows this guy who's deaf, this kid, and from what I could gather, his dad was killed in front of him. So very kind of Marvel Spider-Man-esque kind of a revenge story.
Yeah.
Or Arrow, or how just pick a superhero. Yeah. And the dude.
I'm excited to play Spider-Man.
We'll get to that at the end of the cast. Well, the dude wants revenge on the guy who killed his dad, and I guess that guy became a big gang leader in the city. And he's just going through the motions of that. So, it doesn't appear to be the most in-depth plot by any means. I just hope the gameplay is solid enough. Now, the one thing I did take away from the trailer, and Colin, you're gonna, I hope you back me up on this, is the use of sound design that was in the trailer, where it felt like the world was deaf, like you were the character, you were also deaf in the game, and it was a very unique use of sound and how it immersed you in that world.
There's a lot of muffling going on whenever there's combat happening.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm wondering how that's going to play into things in and out of the game and during the gameplay itself, and if there's going to be more mechanics than just this muffled sound.
I wonder if there'll be like something where you can put your hand on a wall and then just vaguely feel the vibrations of someone or someone's talking. Someone else is in the next room.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be an interesting use of a controller vibration and all that. Yeah, like you can feel it on the left side of the controller, or the right side of the controller, or a little bit ahead. I know the controller's capable of that stuff. So,
and also feeling the vibrations of other people's footfalls from a certain distance away inside a building or some such thing, or if you step on a floorboard that creaks, you can kind of feel it creaking. That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely have to make you utilize different senses, and that would definitely be one I would be 100% behind. Rather than just, you got to use your sight and feel more than your sound.
And maybe since his sense of smell might be extra heightened as a result of his deafness, along with his other senses, that could be a weakness for him. Like if he steps into a room full of gas, or somebody sprays stink juice at him or some such thing.
Yeah, there's a number of ways they could do that. It looks to be a Daredevil type game for sure. I hope it does well, but I am on the side of worry because mixing reality with gameplay, let's face it, has never worked. Look at the FMV phase in the early '90s with the Sega CD and 3DO. Drew, what do you take away from what you've seen of The Quiet Man? Or what you know about it, or what we
much about it. I know a little bit. I just think, I feel like, and this is a little bit of a rant that isn't completely tied to the game specifically.
Okay.
But as far as the game industry is going, as far as interaction with the game, I feel like we've kind of been at a strange kind of stopping point. I don't think there are many games trying to expand the way we interact with the medium, outside of technology like VR and such. I think this game has, in a sense, a way to kind of reunite that. So it could be a fresh, take on just gameplay. And I like that. That's always exciting. So little things like that do sound really cool. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. It's definitely in early development. That much is clear. A lot of things were glitching out the gameplay trailer. That just happened in the live stream.
I feel like these shows are in this awkward point right now where everything has been revealed for like the next 3 years. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what's new because I don't feel like we got any big crazy announcements here at PAX that everybody's talking about.
No. I mean, when the Quiet Man showing 20 minutes of something is the big talk of the town, then
yeah. Which is also why I decided not to go. I was gonna go maybe play some games on the floor with some friends, but I just didn't go. So,
all right. Well, with that, I'm gonna play this nice little old school drop here, and then we can get into our games of the month. Unless you guys got anything else you want to say.
I mean, do we want to talk about announcements that have been happening, or besides PAX? Game Informer's doing some stuff. Hasn't there been like a beta for Battlefield?
I think they delayed the release or something.
No, didn't the Battlefield beta start yesterday? Battlefield 5 beta, and they revealed the Battle Royale. And then I know Black Ops Blackout Battle Royale got a ton of info dropped.
Do you know anything about it?
I can shoot stuff because Game Informer has a deal with Call of Duty this month, so they're really revealing all the Blackout stuff. He confirmed 80 players for Blackout, and then the Battle Royale in Battlefield 5 is going to only have 64 players. The Blackout map is actually just a ton of classic Call of Duty maps that people love all put into one. And then there's also zombies in certain areas of the maps because some zombies maps are worked into the map, and you can fight zombies to get certain like loot from them and all kinds of stuff from that. And then Battlefield has like the ring is actually like a forest fire, and they're all kind of just testing stuff out. It's really early, but the Battlefield beta, open beta or closed beta started today for multiplayer, and everybody's loving that. I just kind of feel like the jump between World War I and World War II, at least from a gameplay perspective, isn't really much at all. So it's not too intriguing on my own. I feel like I don't think they should have done World War II. Call of Duty just did it, and people already got worn out after the Battlefield 1 and World War II thing. Everybody wants a modern shooter. I think Battlefield should jump into the future a little bit. I think it's for a shooter. I think historical shooters are cool, but when you're going for a big blockbuster multiplayer, I think allowing yourself to have complete creative freedom is important. So doing things that are kind of modernized but very near future. Like back 6 years ago, Black Ops 2 did 2025 was the year.
Oh, yeah.
They placed their game in. Yeah. And it gave them a certain amount of creative freedom because then it's modernized. People kind of enjoy the gameplay. It's rooted, but they have creative freedom to do whatever they want. Any guns they want to try and make, any fun ones they want to create, any locations for the maps they want. And I feel like for these multiplayer shooters, that's kind of important because that provides fun and allows the developers to say, hey, here's a new thing, rather than here's another snowy mountain with some explosions from a plane. And it gets kind of boring for me. One thing I'm super excited for Battlefield 5 about, though, is their war stories. They started doing that with Battlefield 1, where there's just like some vignettes.
Okay.
And those were actually like, I rented from Redbox Battlefield 1 just to play those, and they were all fantastic. They were well done emotionally. Characters were great. They were small, bite-sized, like 2-hour experiences. They were intense, and they were powerful, and they were wonderful. I loved them. So I'm really excited for those because those are coming back for this one. So definitely rent the game just to play those. But, yeah. I'm trying to think. There's been some other announcements, I feel like, just for fall games. Wasn't there like a big multiplayer thing for Red Dead 2 that they revealed?
I couldn't tell you.
No.
Are you excited for Red Dead? Me. I'm mildly excited. And there's other games I'm more excited for. I mean, we went over that in the last episode of the Modern Cast.
No, we definitely did. Yo, Scotty, are you excited for
Colin?
I'm looking at his Discord. I missed the introductions. I still don't know who I am. Colin, are you excited for Red Dead?
Plus, I've played the first game and it was pretty good. I'm not really a big Western guy per se,
right?
But I'd be interested to play a bit of Red Dead 2.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, I think we're good.
All right. Well then, I'm gonna move us along here. Play my nice little Alex Kidd drop, and we can go right into the games that we're discussing that came out in August 2018.
Yep.
Alrighty. So the first game we're going to talk about is, I'm just going to knock it out of the way right fast, alright? So bear with me here.
Yep.
It is Fire Pro Wrestling World for the PS4.
Okay. I'm gonna turn something else on.
Yeah, it is a wrestling game. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Fire Pro is a retro style kind of Super Nintendo-esque visual game. It's actually got a joint promotion with New Japan Pro World Wrestling or New Japan Wrestling. So the whole roster's involved, and this is coming right before WWE 2K19 is coming out. So it's kind of a retro take, but also because it's got the modern capabilities, a lot of the limitations that the game has ever had is no longer a thing. So you have infinite amount of like character creations, ring creations, belt creations. The list goes on. The gameplay is much more deep than I remember it. I know it's along the lines of the same. So you can actually input computer AI logic into like created wrestlers, which makes them, more like how the wrestler would perform in real life, as opposed to just say they're tied to this guy has a rating 90 out of 100, therefore his like endurance is real strong, for example, or he just hits harder. It's a lot more to that. Yes, that's still in Fire Pro Wrestling as well, but it goes the step further by applying AI logic, which is really cool. And keeping it, with this simple sprite graphics, I think it's visually more appealing than what we're seeing today with what Ukes does in the WWE games. So I highly recommend Fire Pro Wrestling World. It is, and I mentioned this in the Retro Gaming Cast, Colin, you can attest, it's the most fun in a wrestling game I've had in like 15 years. It is, if you're a wrestling fan and you want a wrestling game, it's a must-buy, 100%. And the reviews coming out, like the Steam version came out last year, and the mod community is very acceptable for that. So you don't have to get it for the PS4, but it doesn't come with the New Japan roster. That's DLC. And it's not going to be hounded with tons of nonsense DLC that the WWE games have, such as they restrict moves behind certain characters that you'd have to get the DLC to get, just a single move or just even that character. So I think you get where what my opinion is and how much I enjoy the game. Fire Pro Wrestling World, definitely go check that out. 100%. I even forgot to. Right. I got so caught up talking about it that I forgot to play the trailer for the live stream. But here it is. I gotta go now a little bit. They do have story modes in Fire Pro Wrestling World as well. They're gonna have they have one out now, and there's gonna be a nice little story-ridden DLC and extra content later that they're adding. So, real cool stuff. The next game is Overcooked 2. If you remember, I was actually mildly excited for this game. Remember?
Yeah, so was I, but I didn't have a Switch.
Yeah, you sold your Switch. You like a fool, I say.
I'll buy another one at some point. Get the Pokemon bundle this fall.
Oh God, Colin, you're excited for Pokemon too, aren't you?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm not excited for the Let's Go series at all. But
why not?
You did get Yokai Watch recently, Colin.
Yeah, I still haven't played it, but...
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with that game. There's just some quality of life issues with it. But Overcooked 2 focuses on... it does have a nice little simple single-player story, but where it shines is definitely in its multiplayer and co-op gameplay. So you can play up to 4 players. This is the definition of the quintessential co-op multiplayer game. Like, it's just that much better when you have a friend or family or whomever playing with you.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I brought this game when my brother was back from Australia visiting. I brought my Switch with Overcooked 2. I'm like, dude, we got to play this, and we had so much fun playing it. We had 1v1s. We took on 2 computers. We played the story mode and tried to 3-star everything. It gets really challenging. What do you guys know about the Overcooked series?
Not much. I think it's a culinary game. Didn't they play it in Popstar, Never Stopping on the tour bus? Pretty sure they did.
I don't know.
Pretty sure they did. Overcooked. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I watched a couple of gameplay videos from a 4-player co-op playthrough, and it looks like a lot of fun for a co-op game. It's definitely got a very quirky little setup to it. Just begins with the Onion King reading from the Necronomicon.
Yeah, there's a lot of food puns in the game. That's for sure.
Evil slices of bread called the Unbread rising from graves.
Yes, and you have to feed their insatiable hunger.
It reminds me so much of the show Bump in the Night. Have either of you heard of that one?
No, do tell.
Mm-hmm.
Claymation cartoon back from like the 90s. Basically, it's about this monster under the bed called Mr. Bumpy, and
Mr. Bumpy.
He's got like this who lives in the toilet called Squishy, and they end up somehow bringing a piece of bread to life, and the episode is called Night of the Living Bread.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I can see why it reminds you of that.
Putting bread puns in there.
So the gameplay is pretty cool, actually. I never got to play the first one, but it became a cult classic, basically. Yeah. And what you do is you're a chef, and there's different sprites and characters you can unlock. They don't really do anything different. It's just an aesthetic point of view. Hey, look at that! You don't have to buy the fucking things. You unlock them by playing the game. What a concept!
I mean, you can unlock skins by playing most of these games, but microtransactions are also cool. Just so it's completely known, I'm always a little bit pissed when I don't have a way to organically unlock cool things and there's a progression system. So Fortnite kind of has that, but it's still frustrating. And just saying, because I know that was targeted at me. Yeah. But I love Call of Duty. They have their skins, that's cool, and supply drops. But you always have your headshot skins, and then your gold and your diamond and like your dark matter or something,
Yeah.
So, and those are always grinding. They're awesome.
So the game has a very good difficulty progression system in the story and how it throws different things at you. So the first few levels, it introduces you to most of the recipes you're gonna come across in the game. So it's just simple things like make a chicken salad, make a tomato salad, make an onion salad. It's teaching you to chop. You got to chop the onion first, chop the tomato first, chop the lettuce first, and then put it on the plate and send it through. First few levels are like that, and then as the game progresses, it gives you a little bit more complicated formula. So, now you got to make a pizza, for example, and you see it at the top left of your screen, like what you need to make and how it's to be made with little sprites. And there's a nice little like graph tutorial that it shows you before said levels as well. So that was really helpful. So the pizza is you got to cut up the tomato. Knead the dough, cut up the, what'd be another one? Cheese. You gotta cut up the meat and put it on the pan, and then throw it on the pizza with said ingredients, and then you can throw it in the oven, and then throw it away. And then they throw. So that's one of the more complicated formulas. Later, it gets real complicated with like baking cakes and shit. Oh boy. That got ridiculous.
Don't even start me on it, dude. Baking a cake is some hard ass shit. Okay.
Yeah. So the later there's cool like levels where you're on a raft and the raft's going back and forth and you have to chuck ingredients to the other chef, because in single player mode you can play the single player mode. I did beat the entire game in single player mode by myself. So it is possible, and the game does kind of give you a lot more leeway when you are playing single player for what it takes to pass with 2 or 3 stars, because that's also how you progress in the story. Is the more stars kind of like one of the some of the more modern Mario games where you beat a level, get some stars to go to the next level, you have to have X amount of stars. So, but yeah, like fire, like if you leave something on the burner too long, you'll catch the kitchen on fire, and you'll have to get the fire extinguisher and put it out. Otherwise, you won't be able to cook anymore, and the fire can spread throughout the kitchen. So, you know, just little nuances like that just make the game more challenging. It makes you think, you know, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. If you're not good with like planning ahead or coordinating with friends, the game will be really hard, and if you're not good with coordinating with friends, you're gonna be pissed off at each other. So it's got that big Mario Party kind of pissed off at your buddies aspect to it.
Why do you assume that I'm pissed? Why do you assume that I'm pissed off at my buddies?
I'm not. I'm just saying in general for our audience. I'm sorry, Drew. That wasn't aimed at you.
That's fair. I feel targeted and harassed.
No.
Let's keep going. You're oppressed?
Oppressed? Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to think of a food pun there, but it didn't come to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Breaking news. A person on Twitter got a hold of some selfies that I have and is now posting my face onto pornographic images. So I'm getting a lot of these right now.
I don't think I'm okay with that.
You want to see some?
I don't want to see Drew kind of naked.
No. It's like my face on somebody. No, it's like just my face cropped out and put on
porn stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some of these in the Discord so you can see.
Oh man.
Boy.
So, Colin, when you come and visit, we're definitely gonna play some co-op Overcooked 2, so you get a hands-on experience with it, because it's super fun. I got it on Amazon on the Switch because it's portable, and it just screams like a Switch game to me.
Absolutely.
Drew, is this something you'd be interested in getting sometime down the line? Let's assume you have friends.
Yep, I would. And I would win. I'd become the best. You know, we should have a RLR cook-off.
Cooking contest?
Cooking contest. Really, streams up, put a cam up in your kitchen.
Oh, that's what you meant. An actual cooking contest.
Straight up. Best ramen, best bacon.
I do have leftover ziti that I taught myself how to make the last couple days.
It's so good.
Yeah. That's the other thing. After playing Overcooked 2, I had this sudden urge to cook myself.
What? I woke up today. Okay, so I woke up today with a violent urge to just cook. So I made hash browns. I actually took like raw beef sirloin and like made meat, and I put it in the hash browns. I grated some cheese, made some really good eggs, and like it's crazy. So just rolled out of bed. I'm in my kitchen naked.
Oh God. What are you doing in the kitchen naked? That's dangerous with all the grease and fire stuff going on. Come on.
Because I'm wondering if there's just
you gotta at least put an apron on over your penis.
Oh well. I'm not that kawaii. You guys see those pictures I put in the Discord?
I'll look at them later. I suppose.
Did you see them, Colin?
The final boss, like stage of Overcooked 2, is insane. It took. So each level has a timer, and you have to like meet a certain demand of the customers, and get these items out in time. Otherwise, you're docked points. Well, this is like a 30-minute gauntlet of just getting orders, and then like once you like hit certain minutes, the entire stage will change and morph. So you'll have to kind of get the lay of the land again, plan something out just like right there on the spot. Pretty crazy stuff. It took me 2 tries to get it, but that first try I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Where am I going? What do I need to do? I fucked up the pizza. Oh God, I fucked up the cake. No! But yeah, Overcooked 2. I recommend it if you're looking for a co-op multiplayer game, which I don't think we get enough these days. This is definitely one of them. Mm-hmm. So far we're 2 for 2. No,
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
And for real, I'm not even joking. I am looking at getting a Switch, but it's on the back burner because I'm busy with plenty of other stuff. But I do want to get a Switch again because I am excited for Pokemon and Smash Bros. And Overcooked 2. Well,
there's another Switch game that we're going to talk about here. It also came out on other consoles, but I got it on the Switch, is Dead Cells, and I think Colin wants to talk about this game.
So yeah. Yep, I got this game pretty recently, and to repeat what I said in the Retrocast, yes, it was entirely due to the IGN plagiarism controversy that I found out about it to begin with, but that doesn't change the fact that the game itself is great.
Absolutely, I agree. I'm not a roguelike gameplay fan myself, but this one is executed quite well. Drew, if you remember, we actually covered a roguelike game recently.
Which one? Which one was it?
It was Moonlighter. It came out in May, and that was in our July makeup cast.
Yeah, you're right.
It was the like economic roguelike game that I didn't like.
Yeah, I remember that. No, didn't I like it though?
No, you didn't. You didn't like it.
No, I didn't. You're right. Oh, I remember. Okay, I remember this very clearly now. Yeah, this one had so much potential though.
Moonlighter, you mean?
Yeah, Moonlighter had so much potential.
But we're talking Dead Cells here. So, Colin, tell us what the game's about. Like, who made it? Why do you like it? What is this thing? What is the Cells of Dead?
The way it plays is essentially Rogue Legacy meets Dark Souls, more or less. They didn't quite look up who the developer is. I think it's Motion Star Games.
Sure.
Came out just this past month. And it's like you said, JD, Metroidvania type roguelike. Amazing pixel art, which is what suckered me in to begin with.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the art and aesthetic through the game. A lot of games are doing that. It's not quite like Shovel Knight, or even Iconoclast, two games that I'm a fan of, where it's either 8 or 16-bit. It's more of this weird. I don't even know how to. What would you describe it as, Colin?
The developer I just found out is Motion Twin. So I was half right.
There he is.
It's being called Roguevania. Is the genre?
I thought it was Metroidvania.
Well, it's roguelike, so it's when you die, the level is changed through an AI program developed in the game.
Right.
And then you have to go through a certain path to get to other levels. The Vania part is it encourages you to backtrack and overtrack certain areas to get various items or more cells.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plot itself is fairly vague. It's like you're basically this blob of cells that attach themselves to the neck of a decapitated corpse of a warrior. At the beginning. Each and every time you die, that's what you see happen. And then you could basically fight your way through these different maze environments, picking up all these different kinds of weapons along the way. Like the melee weapons, they'll have different properties. Like the bleeding sword will cause bleeding, which drains health over time. The electric whip that will stun enemies briefly, and they basically lock onto enemies pretty easily. And you can also lay down traps, like wolf traps, which are basically bear traps. They'll keep an enemy in place while causing damage to them over time. And there's also like the sinew slicer, which basically fires. You plant it, and then it fires saw blades at the enemies that cause bleeding.
That one's cool. That's one of my favorite ones to get.
More than that, my favorite is like the double crossbow-matic, as it's called. Basically, it's a crossbow turret that fires enemies, and if it's got a piercing mechanic to it, that makes it even better. I can kick so much ass with that one.
Yeah, there's definitely a good challenge to it, and the progression system I found very very easy to grasp. So the way that works is you collect throughout the levels and enemies, you kill them and you collect what's called dead cells. Just think of them as orbs, and upon each finding a teleport to get to the next level, it takes you to an in-between stage where you can deposit your cells to get permanent upgrades, such as you unlock a shield that you'll start with, a sword you'll start with, you'll get more damage, more health upgrade, whatever it may be. They become permanent upgrades, which get you, of course, to progress through level 1, 2, 3 faster than before. But the game, the way you do progress through levels, I found fascinating. This is where the Vania comes in. Is it makes you wander about the level until you eventually just stumble across a certain character upgrade that will get you to the next level. So, for example, to get to level 2, you have to go across all of level 1 until you find this like vine ladder upgrade, where you'll come across on the first level a part in the stage to activate something on the ground, and it'll put a vine ladder there, and that'll take you to the true next level stage.
Yeah.
And then there's mutation upgrades that you get in the in-between levels as well. You only get one, so that ranges from increasing your health to having a stronger sword, less time for a grenade or what have you to reload. My favorite is the necromancy ability, where you get like 2 HP upon killing a new enemy, because you will die a lot just on the fact of, if you just kind of fuck up once, an enemy will wreck your house very quickly. So there was a good sense of difficulty there. What are some of your favorite aspects of the game, Colin?
I like the dry sense of humor the game has about itself. Like, there's this a few points you'll find writing on the walls of prison cells, and then the player character will say, "Very convenient finding writing on the walls. Lore on a shoestring."
I like the one dude where you get the coffin teleportation. I don't know the exact name of it off the top of my head right now. But there's a dude in a cell, and he wants that upgrade, and your character just goes, "Nah, it's mine now." Basically finders keepers. Fuck off.
Yeah, he literally flips the guy off. It was so funny. The lightning power that you can get at one point, in the description, it actually says, "Come to the dark side." And I thought that was great.
Oh, I don't think I have that one yet. I haven't been able to beat the true first boss in the game. I believe that's like the Black Bridge or something.
Yeah, the concierge is what he's called.
Yeah, he's wrecked my house, I think 5 times now. It's a bad time.
He's a real piece of work, that's for sure.
I won't be looking forward to fighting him like 20 more times, that's for sure. But I imagine I'll get much stronger and have stronger weapons, because that's the issue I'm having right now fighting him. It's not that he's like too difficult. It's I can't do damage to him quick enough, because when he gets to that more or less final form, where he just starts chucking fire everywhere, and he has this energy shield that drains your energy or does damage to you, that it basically never stops. So you have to do damage to him much quicker, or you will die yourself.
Yeah, it's helpful to dodge roll behind him when he does that. I mean, he puts up the shield, but then he can't from any damage. It'll drain your health, but it won't protect him from damage, which is where the traps come in handy.
I haven't been able to face him with any sort of range weapon yet, and I think that's my issue. So
I've been doing sort of our approach that we had in Dark Souls 3, and go without a shield, mainly just a sword and a bow and arrow.
truly the only way to play any game is you just throw the shield away and hope for the best.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
it's funny you mentioned that. I actually just picked up Demon Souls at a retro game store for about $3.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I've been wanting to play that for a long time, so I need to play my 2 hours mandatory that I give myself, and then I can get into that.
I've beaten that one, so
what's the most amount of cells you've lost on a round that you've gone on?
I think like 52. I raged so hard after that.
It's a very devastating feeling. I think I had like 49 or something that I lost. I had to put the game down. I just went no. I could have gotten like 2 upgrades. Oh, I don't want to play anymore.
That's awesome.
I know that feeling. But I also had a few exhilarating moments.
Yeah.
It's like moments I like to call second demons moments.
Okay.
There you go.
As originated in our playthrough of Doom 2016 on Moosenspiel.
Uh-huh.
Like I had one just this past Sunday night. I got greedy and opened a cursed chest in one of the later levels.
Ooh, bad idea.
Yeah. Basically, when you open one of those, you get some cool items, but you're basically put in a state where one single hit will kill you. And in order to lift the curse, you have to kill 10 enemies. So after that, I managed to kill 8 enemies without much of a problem, but the remaining 2 were in a very tough spot to set up a crossbow wolf trap combination. So I had to be really quick. And in addition to that, there were lots of spikes on the walls and the floors. So I also had to be pretty nimble. I managed to trap the biggest enemy, but the small one started chasing me. And he's one of those enemies that will actually like zip teleport towards you, similar to a character.
That's one thing. So there's certain enemies in the game that have a teleportation ability, to say the least, where even if you try and run away, they just fucking follow you. They just zip. They just teleport like right next to you, and you're just like, oh, get away! Oh no, this is the worst.
Yeah, it's like a Bleach character.
Bleach character, nice anime reference.
So by that point, I was pretty much freaking out. I'm like, no. Yeah. And there was actually a lot more enemies in the only place I could run to, but thankfully I was able to jump and dodge roll my way past all of them, and then just barely managed to set up another trap and turret on the fly, and then was able to kill 2 more enemies. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah. Drew, what do you think about this game now that you've heard Colin and I kind of gush about it?
It sounds like a game I would be really intrigued to play, but for games like these, I feel like it's mechanically the entertainment of playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely am interested in it. Can I pick it up not on the Switch?
Yes.
Yes.
It's 4.
Is it on Steam?
Yes.
Yeah. PS4? All right, I'll have to grab it on Steam here. Let me get a price.
It's also on the Xbox One.
Yeah, it's on pretty much everything, so.
It sells. $25.
Oh, speaking of which, I got a controller for my Switch. And not a pro controller, because those are like $90.
What kind of controller did you get?
I got a wired controller, actually, and it's this black and teal green.
Oh, I saw that
one. Controller. It is so nice. Oh,
I actually got a new controller too.
Life.
I got a controller for a console I don't have yet. I got a Scuff Impact for PlayStation 4.
Oh, is that the one you sent me?
I think did I send you a picture of it?
Yeah. I think
was it recent?
You tagged me on Twitter about it.
Oh no! That was just for a giveaway. No, I got my own because I can never have too many Scuffs. But
yeah, you like your Scuff controllers.
I mean, they're easily the best controllers on the market.
Yeah, well, I got a $20 Crash Bandicoot controller for my Nintendo Switch. That's wired.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't have some $100 nice fancy schmancy controller.
I mean, you kind of need these to compete too.
Well, sure. Yeah, whatever.
A lot of people are like, you need a Scuff controller, but yeah, they're not winning anything. So.
Well, let's talk about, let's go into, Dead Cells is a if you're into roguelike games, this is up there with Rogue Legacy.
Yep.
And it's been a long time since I played a roguelike that I actually enjoy as much as Dead Cells.
Dead Cells is lit cells.
I hate you.
Yeah.
Are you in the same boat, Colin?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much 2 for 2 with 2018 releases so far, with the first being Celeste.
There you go. Yeah, and that's in that same sort of art style too, or sprite style. I really need to get the name of what that art style is called. But regardless.
Is it October? Yeah, I was about to say there was a game that released today that I didn't know if you were talking about, but it's not.
No.
It's not August.
Right, it didn't release in August. So, our last game we're gonna talk about here is probably the most, the biggest game released in August, arguably, and that's We Happy Few, a game that's been on early access for what, 2 years?
Probably
something like that. And okay.
Man, this game would have gotten so much good press, or just people would have loved this game if it was a single-player story game.
And Compulsion was just bought out by Xbox to be a first-party studio for them. So the release of We Happy Few, I don't want to say it was going to set the precedent for what the studio is going to do in the future for Xbox.
No, it shouldn't set the precedent. These are new studios making new IPs, right? There's hit and miss. They can learn their lessons. Everybody's capable of making a good game. They just need to find kind of that potential in them. So I feel like, yes, these studios can make great games.
Well, because they're making games that
look, yeah. I think they will.
I don't know.
I hope they will.
We Happy Drew. This is something you're definitely more familiar with.
Yeah. So something I want to say is that this game,
We Happy Few.
Okay. This game's presentation is very, very intriguing. Essentially, you're in, I can't remember what town, but you're in Britain, right? In this weird kind of, I guess you could say, cyberpunk future where everybody, instead of, they wear masks. I forgot why they do, but everybody's basically on an antidepressant pill that keeps them happy.
It's called Taking Your Joy.
It's called Joy.
Are you off your joy?
Yeah, and essentially the game is just a couple people are like, hey, let's get off the joy, you know? And as a story, that sounds really interesting. But the game turns into more of a survival game rather than a story game about that. I think if we had a game like this covering that kind of topic in a really emotionally deep single-player story, I think, especially at a time like right now in society, I think that would be a very, 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 important and interesting game. But it doesn't go that direction. It just becomes a survival game. It left me feeling very like Far Cry 5. I felt like this was going to be some big, political statement, and then it's just as far as it can be from it. So it's a cool game, and it had a lot of potential. It just isn't the right game, if you know what I mean. That's what a lot of people see on Twitter. A lot of people on Twitter say the same.
I played probably way too much of this game, actually. To be honest, I went.
Oh, what did you play it
on? Xbox, actually.
How?
What do you mean, how?
Did you have an Xbox?
No. I went to the place that lets me just kind of hang out there and play new releases.
Oh, that's a cool place. Because I bring
my VR and they get to like rent it out and stuff. So
that's cool.
But yeah, I spent I want to say 4 or 5 hours playing We Happy Few with me and another guy. We were just kind of trading off. And yeah, as you said, Drew, the premise is really interesting. The aesthetic and atmosphere is very interesting and put together.
Yeah.
Everything else is just not, because
it just falls short.
It falls way short. I just felt bored going from place to place. If this was a linear story, like you said, Drew, then it would be so much better. It emphasizes too much on inventory management, collecting you know, scrap and nonsense just in everywhere you go. The whole town is basically procedurally generated. That was the word I wanted to use for Dead Cells earlier.
Yeah.
So everything ends up looking the same, which gets boring real quick. You're like, okay, I'm going to go into this house. It has 3 floors. It's going to have this. It's going to have this. It's going to have this. Then I'm going to go into this place. It's going to look like this in you know, the future home of America in the 1950s. You do get to play as a few other characters in later parts of the game. I never got there because it wasn't interesting anymore. Yeah, like the first, I want to say 45 minutes were fine because it was linear. You kept unlocking more about the story. It was setting up the world, and then as soon as you get into town of Wellington Wells, because that's where you are. That's when it starts going, and you're just collecting random shit along the way. That's when it starts going. Okay, so I need to go to the bridge. You go to the bridge. Oh, the bridge is out. Well, why is the bridge out? Well, you need this permission slip to go to this building. All right, where's the permission slip? Okay, you go get the permission slip. Then you go to the bridge again. And it goes, well, you know, the engineer is busy. You got to go find the engineer. All right, well, where's the engineer? Well, there's a hint here. Okay, so I go there, and everything in between all of that is you're just going point A to point B.
Right.
But there's no implication to do anything other than that, other than just to collect scrap.
And it's just, that's the frustration of this game. You're interested in it, but it doesn't pay off, you know?
No, there's no payoff. You pretty much figure out the hidden truth that the game is hinting at the whole time pretty quick. You can assume like what happened and why everyone is on their joy, because it takes place in a post-World War II era if Germany won, and what this area of Britain did to appease the Germans.
Which is also a really, really interesting concept. But it's not paid off in a story way, you know?
No.
This would have been a great game. Imagine, here's another weird. Imagine Telltale takes on a story like this, you know? Or, you know, Naughty Dog takes on a story like this. You know? Well, of course, they'd be very, very different types of games if those studios took it on. But what they would do is they would tell a story that's gripping and powerful and then really just interesting, you know?
Right.
Because this is an extremely interesting world and story. It just does not pay off.
Colin, you looked up like Let's Plays or got to play it or however way you did it. What's your opinion over We Happy Few? Like, did it come up? Did it reach demand? Did it meet what it was supposed to? Did it fail? What do you think?
Off really interesting. I mean, the beginning is pretty fucked up. It's like your character decides to stop taking his joy, and then he starts seeing things for what they really are. For instance, that celebratory piñata that he's asked to whack at the beginning party turns out to be a dead animal in actuality, and then once it's popped, the people around start eating the flesh thinking it's candy, which causes the guy to retch, and then that causes the people around him to catch on. It definitely reminds me a lot of the movie Equilibrium. I haven't seen it, but the premise is very...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean there.
As far as the drug being called joy, I think Ding-a-Ling Productions is going to sue somebody.
It's just a word, to be honest.
Right.
Oh, no, Ding-a-Ling Productions created the game Lisa the Painful, where that features also features a drug called joy, although that seems to have a different long-term effect in that it turns the users into murderous monsters.
Oh, okay. Well...
Yeah, I watched like 30 minutes after he gets away from his workplace, and then after that point, it just kind of slowed down to a crawl, and it didn't really continue being particularly interesting. Like you guys said, it plays a lot like BioShock, and as the player that I watched said, a little bit of Dishonored as well. But yeah, it just didn't seem particularly interesting. Didn't really follow through with any sort of plot that could.
Yeah, the other issues I have with the game is the game itself. Surprisingly enough, it's busted and buggy as all hell.
Yeah, I noticed one. There's a woman sitting at a table, except she's poking halfway out of the ground, and her head is split partway through the chair.
Yep. I when I was playing with the guy, there was a lot of frequent bugs. Whenever we'd try to talk to an NPC, they would just straight disappear. That happened quite a bit. We'd turn a corner into certain homes or buildings, and NPCs would be halfway in the building or floating, 6 feet in the air.
Yeah.
That happened.
And I remember
quite
there
a
was
bit.
Sterling video that started off with him looking at a character sitting at a bench. Then the character just starts floating away, turns in a circle, and then floats right back to where it was sitting. I was like, wow.
I'm gonna have to look at that. But yeah, that's a good example of how buggy the game is. Not even like you'd have to have a No Man's Sky Next scale update to fix all the bugs in the game, and that's like unacceptable.
Really.
I mean, we discussed No Man's Sky Next, where it was a content update, not a bug update.
Yeah.
This would need a bug update of that magnitude. It's wow. The other thing is that are called bobbies, the wastrels, which are the people that are off their joy because if they take it, they see eyes everywhere and go crazy. Of a retro game, it doesn't work in modern gaming at all, especially in a 3D game on top of it.
Yeah.
The linear aspect would have definitely saved this game. And get rid of all of this shit you have to make all the time. They should have emphasized crazy with my gameplay when I was playing with the guy, because we go, no, you need to take your joy. No, if you don't take your joy, the people are going to get pissed off at you and beat you to death. Well, no. You can go through the 95% of the game without ever taking your joy.
Yeah.
I'm like, well then what's the point?
Yeah, really.
It was incredible. So in town, it does do a cool thing if you do take your joy through in a phone booth. We were both irritated that you couldn't pick your flavor when it tells you to pick your flavor.
Yeah.
Because you got chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and you go, ooh, I want chocolate or vanilla. Nope, you always pick strawberry, so get bent.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, strawberry's not that bad.
No, I mean, I would have picked strawberry, but the guy next to me was like, no, pick chocolate. It's like, well, we can't pick chocolate anyways if we wanted to. When you do take your joy, the town's, dark and dreary England aesthetic turns into, a rainbow road and everything's bright colors. And I was like, okay, that's cool. That's a cool idea. But because the joy tends to run out, fairly fast, especially for how much you have to wander and needlessly travel around. There's a short period, and when I say short, I mean just hide behind a bush, because the AI is broken. As soon as you hide anywhere, they won't find you.
Yeah.
You just wait 10 seconds, and then everything's fine. The other thing is if you overdose on your joy, so over time a little bar goes around the meter, and you'll overdose on the joy, which just means you've overdosed, and now everyone knows you're off your joy immediately, and that lasts for about, again, 10 seconds, and then everything's fine again. So
yeah.
Things just don't mix well together, even though the concept is there. And that's the theme of We Happy Few. Good concept, not executed the way it should have been.
Yeah. Potential.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's been the word of 2018.
Ooh. Well, especially with Xbox releases in general, and this was supposed to be
I think that's what happens when Xbox picks up a ton of indie studios and says, this is now a AAA game. Like, that's the issue I feel like that they're having the most, is that they keep making these games out to be huge releases when they are tiny releases. They're like one guy that they just decided to start paying.
Well, Drew, here's what I'm scared about. State of Decay 2, they bought that studio. Mm-hmm. Game was mediocre at best. They bought the studio We Happy Few. Game comes out. It's worse than mediocre with a good concept. So maybe the best we can hope for is now that they've got a huge backer behind them, that they'll have the resources to produce better. But I don't know. When you can't execute on what you have available, then just having more money doesn't give me much hope personally. And We Happy Few is definitely an example of that. A lot of people were saying when I was ranting on Twitter or what have you, social media, like We Happy Few was ass. I like the concept and hated the game. They go, well, I mean, it's just going to be, you speak about Ubisoft and fixing their games like 2 years from now, and I go, this is on a different level of that.
Yeah.
Like, at least with Ubisoft, they have now a track record of, this game will be fixed in like a year or two.
Yeah.
This is a brand new studio making their first game, and they're coming out with DLC from their season pass. I don't have much hope. What's been your game for August, guys?
Dead Cells, definitely.
Black Ops 4 beta.
The beta? Oh, come on, Drew. You suck.
What? That beta was really fun.
I think objectively, Dead Cells is the best game of the month. I'm having the most fun personally with the Fire Pro Wrestling game, as big a wrestling fan as I am. But I'm with you, Colin. I think Dead Cells was the best of the month.
I just like to say Dead Cells.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah.
Like Dead Space or Flip Flappers or Battle Mage or Wolfenstein.
It's got to be Wolfenstein.
I started up a
you can say it, yeah.
I started up a playthrough of The Old Blood last night, so.
Oh, cool. So let's.
You know what I did start watching this month? Actually, I wanted to just mention this because, and this might be a little off topic, but I know JD would either be happy or upset with me.
Okay.
But I started officially watching Naruto.
The first one or Shippuden?
I'm watching the first one. I read the books back in the day, but I'm watching the anime full on now.
Well, I'm a Shonen Trash fan myself, so.
Oh, really? I mean, Naruto isn't really that trashy. I just wish the decisions they provided, at least in the early ones, had more weight. You know?
No, I mean, I enjoyed Naruto. I just hated the filler. It killed the series.
Mm-hmm. I just finished up their whole...
I think it was 75 episodes of Naruto is filler. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into Shippuden.
I liked some of it. I liked some of the filler.
I do like the series, though. You know, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. I like them all. They're all good to me, even though objectively they're not good. They make me feel like a kid again. I don't care what anyone else says. So let's. I'm proud of you, Drew. I'm proud of anyone who watches anime. Let's look at September outlook here, and I just want quick thoughts over how you think the game's going to be.
What game?
Get the September pitch. It's coming out on PS4 though.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played any Dragon Quest, so no opinion.
Ooh. Do you like Final Fantasy? It's okay.
If that's the case, then it should be enjoyable.
Okay. It's Final Fantasy, but its competitor. And it's always been its competitor. But anyways, right. SNK Heroines, a fighting game all about the SNK females, including Terry Bogard, who's now a female. No thoughts?
All girl fighter. No thoughts. What can you say?
All right, fair enough. Spider-Man, PS4 exclusive.
Yes.
Seems to be going.
I'm really excited because I'm getting before the Black Ops 4 season. Before the Black Ops 4 season starts, I'm gonna get to play Spider-Man, and I am so excited.
Drew, it is not your turn. We'll get to you. Colin, Spider-Man, what are your thoughts?
Interested in what it'll do. Seems like it might incorporate some of Arkham Asylum's combat, but I'll be satisfied if it manages to do similar web slinging physics to what Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game, did before. That was a big selling point for that game.
Okay.
Although I saw a Review Tech USA video just today saying people were bitching about a perceived graphical downgrade with the review copies compared to the demo at E3. And it's grown men cry over puddles. Hashtag Puddlegate.
Oh wow. I did see like taglines and YouTubers like overreacting to everything, but I don't click on clickbait. Bullshit. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Very optimistic.
Drew, wait your turn.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna have to put you in timeout.
I'm literally the first one to answer. I didn't even speak over anybody.
I asked Colin first. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Colin.
That looks pretty cool. I mean, it seems to be going along similar path to with her unearthing a supernatural power, but it seems like this one is of apocalyptic proportions. So now Lara's in a real jam after that. So I'm kind of interested in that. I mean, I played a little bit of Rise of the Tomb Raider at your place, JD.
Yes.
And that was a lot of fun.
I'm sure it'll be similar.
So,
all right, Drew. Now it's your turn. SNK heroines.
What?
What are your thoughts over SNK heroines?
Oh, remind me what SNK is. I know this game. What is it? What is SNK?
It's the all-female fighting game with SNK.
Yeah, it's the all-female fighting game. I remember hearing about this.
Meh.
I'll check Hentai Haven a month after it comes out.
Dragon Quest 11. Drew?
I thought you just... Oh, it's my turn.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I'm not a Dragon Quest guy. I'm optimistic.
Spider-Man?
I am excited to play it.
All right.
Just because Spider-Man's cool, and this game looks really, really fucking pretty.
We'll sure find out. Spider-Man, I'm waiting post-release to see if it lives up to expectations. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I got that shit on pre-order. I'm a Tomb Raider junkie, except the PS2 one. I hate that game. SNK Heroines, no thank you. It's a fighting game on Switch, no way. Dragon Quest 11, I'm waiting for the Switch version. Simple as that. I love the Dragon Quest series, though.
Still waiting for that one Senran Kagura Switch game where you have real-life boob physics.
Yeah, eventually. Give it time. So, this has been the Red Leaf Modern Gamecast, episode 13. We're over a year now, officially in episodes. Colin, thank you for joining me, and Drew, and we'll be here in the next one for the September game releases. Thank you, guys.
September is pretty dry. No, I'm wrong.
All right. See you around, folks.
See ya.
Alrighty. We're done, guys. Hour and 23. Cool.
Yeah, solid stuff.
We stretched it. I don't know how we did it, but it happened.
I did it.
Wasn't even aiming for that.
Happened.
You happened, Colin. Yes.
You happened, Colin.
We had a lot to say over We Happy Few. That was good.
Yeah, I feel like that was the game that came out this month that actually deserved talking about, like solid talk about.
Yeah.
Everything else was like extremely simple.
We did gush about Dead Cells quite a bit, though.
Yeah, for sure.
This is episode 13?
Yes, episode 13. Put Drew, episode 13, please.
Drew. I'm going to export it and
send that shit to me immediately.
Look in the Discord. Look at the photos of...
All right. Yeah. Oh, God. Open original, I guess. Jesus Christ. All right.
Come on, you can't. You guys are actually pretty funny.
I'm deleting him.
That's fair. I can delete him. It's all good.
Delete. All right, done. Fine, cool.
That's fucking amazing.
Oh man.
I saw that shit and I was like, what? What the fuck?
That was bad. You're bad. You're a terrible person.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Scarred me for life.
Now you've seen me getting like fucked and
Double
choked
teamed
by two very big men.
Yeah, you definitely took it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh
God.
Fuck. What do I do now?
What do you mean? What do you do now? You export your audio and send it to me.
Oh, I am exporting the audio. And just like this day has just been a jumble.
All right. Well,
the
I'm
new
ending,
season
I'm
of Siege
ending the
hit today.
stream
We're gonna
now.
play that. Oh, this I'm yeah. Do it.